Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now, the day after incredible Alex Trebek news was broken all over the internet about almost being in remission from his pancreatic cancer, a man who has taken the world by storm. He's won over $2 million playing a trivia game. He's on a 29-day run and counting. Your smartest friend, he's smarter than. He was a professional sports gambler until he took a little time off here to dominate a little show called Jeopardy. From Naperville, Illinois, ladies and gentlemen, Jeopardy genius, James Holzhauer.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hey, man. Thank you so much for joining us. I said a little bit ago, I'm starstruck. I am a Jeopardy watcher nightly, and whenever you showed up as a professional sports gambler, I was automatically on your side, and watching what you have done has been awesome, James.
No, I think it's great. I've done a lot of interviews, but this is the first time someone in a sleeveless hoodie has reached out to me.
Okay, let's talk about it. Your entire life, have you been the smartest human in the room? And do you still, because every time you give an interview, you act as if you're just like, oh, I'm just one of the guys. Like I read kids' books, that's how I stay ahead of it. And then valedictorians come in there and you just slaughter them. Like, have you always been the smartest dude to walk into every room that you walk into?
I guess. I mean, I never finished at the top of my class in grades or anything like that. But, if you gave us a trivia test or something like that, I was really good at things like math team in high school. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. Did you know what was going to happen whenever you got onto Jeopardy? Did you know that you were going to have a very successful run, or were you just hoping to get a win? Let's see how it is. It's going to be a fun experience.
I knew that my trivia chops were good, but the buzzer is such a huge element, and I practiced my buzzing before I went on, but I wasn't really sure until I got there that this would be the winning buzzer approach, and, I feel kind of lucky that it was.
So what did you do? Did you study Trebek's cadence and just kind of catch his rhythm? And then, because your buzzer doesn't work until he's completely finished reading the question, the clue, am I correct?
Yes, so you can't see it at home, but they have kind of a border of lights around the board that's activate whenever the buzzer system is turned on. And they give you like half an hour to practice before the show, but you can't do it from home, obviously. So at home, you can practice with like a clicker pen or something like that and try to time Alex's cadence, but you really only get that half hour. You actually see the lights and see how fast you can react to them.
Okay, so the light comes on, and as soon as it's like almost in a drag race or in Mario Kart when it's like 3, 2, and you got to hit it right after the 2 to get the speed burst at the beginning. It's kind of like that where a light hits up, and that's when you can hit it?
You don't get the 3-second countdown, but yeah, other than that, I know playing a lot of video games I think is helpful in me timing, pressing a button, and I think some other champions have said this in the past too. So I said playing Guitar Hero was more important than any other studying I did.
You being a professional sports gambler, how much has that helped you in the ability to go ahead and just say, hey, this is fun coupons right now. It's not real money until we get it at the end. It's fun coupons. Let's go ahead and invest it and risk it. Has that helped out as immensely as well, I assume?
Yeah, that's a great metaphor you just used. I think I say like game pieces or poker chips or something like that. But yeah, it's nothing unless you win the tournament. You don't get to cash it in for anything. And I think the attitude of, this is 10,000 chips I'm betting, not $10,000, it is helpful. And also, I've been in situations where I lost that kind of money before, and I just bounced back and went back to work. I don't know if everyone can do that, but
how do you feel about people? There's some haters out there. I don't know how. I'm going to let you know, as a diehard Jeopardy fan and a bit of a meathead, I don't understand how anybody can hate what you're doing. You go on to game shows attempting to win the most possible money that is available, and that's what you're doing. But there's some of these other people who are either contestants of Jeopardy or people that you have beat that say that you're rigging the game and that you're only daily double hunting. And if you are, why is that a problem, and is that what you're doing?
Well, I don't think it's a problem, but I'm not a traditionalist. I go into sports betting. I don't worry about what everyone else in the line is doing. I find the edge, and I tried my best to work with it, and I'm not doing anything that's outside the rules of Jeopardy. Maybe you could argue it's outside the spirit, I guess, but they've laid out the rules. They know about people they know that people can come in and do things like this, and they decided that it's a more fun game this way. And really, there are plenty of haters, but viewership is still way up. So
I love that promo right there. I think it's in the spirit of the game. I mean, that is the spirit of the game. The Daily Double, Trebek used to get so excited whenever somebody would say true Daily Double and nobody would ever do it. Like, that was what Trebek was always looking for. Now you're a guy that's doing it. I think you are the spirit of Jeopardy. I think those people should go fuck themselves.
Okay.
I'll say it. You don't have to. Has Ken reached out to you? Because I watched an interview just a little bit ago where his quote was, and I don't think he was saying anything negative. I think it was in a joking manner, but he said he doesn't like people calling you Jeopardy James because that's who he is. He's Jeopardy Ken. Have you two chatted with each other?
Yeah, he reached out. Well, I should say I asked for his contact info so I could reach out to him, and he offered a bunch of useful advice on how to deal with sudden Jeopardy fame. I think he's the only other person who's gone through this sort of thing, and even then, that was back in 2004, before the current age of social media as we know it. He did come up with some useful advice there on, how to deal with everything that's going on, what to think about, like, what you want your media presence to be, how to deal with that. And, he and I engaged in some friendly trash talk on Twitter, but really, he seems like a nice guy who's ready for his records to be beaten if it's the time.
That's awesome. I think you're the guy, by the way. You had a close call a week ago. What happened?
Yeah.
Was it just not good categories for you? Were you off? What was it?
No, I really feel like I'm playing my best game every time I'm out there. I get some competitors who are really, really good at what they're doing, and sometimes the daily doubles don't fall my way. It's a game. It's like football. You can be the 2007 Patriots and not win every single time. Sometimes a bad bounce is going to get you, and eventually that'll be the end of me.
Do you have any weaknesses? And does Jeopardy track so for Fear Factor back in the day with Joe Rogan? To get on that show, I actually looked into this. You fill out the things that you're scared of. It's like you're setting yourself up for them to absolutely destroy you on TV. For Jeopardy, do they go through a comprehensive background check to see what your strong point is and what your weaknesses are, and are they looking for that?
They do a couple of trivia tests on your way in, so they have some data on what questions you got right and got wrong, but it's illegal to rig a game show to favor one contestant over another, so I would have to assume they're not doing anything bad like that. The past seasons of Jeopardy are publicly available data, and you can kind of see what topics are going to come up over and over. But there was one category a few weeks ago about Monty Python phrases that I went in completely unprepared for.
What is the one that popped up that you? Well, I'm sure it seems as if it's every category, but has there been a category that has popped up that you're just like, oh, I'm just going to roll right, or an entire board maybe that you see all of them, and you're like, oh, like in White Men Can't Jump, Rosie, she knew everything is the Q or something like that. Has there been a board that has popped up where you're like, oh, this is my board, I'm going to steamroll right through this board? Has that happened yet, or are you expecting it to?
I wouldn't say an entire board. There's definitely been categories. There was a Dodger baseball category on this Tuesday's episode, which, okay, I have to do this for a living, so with that.
How do they record it? Is it daily recording, or they lump up in the front of the week and then you kind of got a week off?
They do 2 taping days a week. They're back-to-back days, usually Tuesday and Wednesday, and they do 5 episodes a day. So they're taping basically 2 weeks worth of episodes each taping week.
Okay, you're in good spirits, so congratulations. I don't want to give away anything. No spoilers.
No, they're done taping for the season already now, so even if I'm still going, I won't be back in the studio till July.
Okay, so this is your second speed bump that you're going to have to run into. That Teacher's Week, were you scared that was going to interrupt your flow, or was that a time for you to go home, reset with the wife, and get some more clothes?
They actually taped the episodes out of order, so the episodes that are airing now were taped, I think, a few weeks before the teachers' tournament happened, so did not interrupt the flow.
Oh, okay. All right. So
I think it's kind of funny because I think they normally schedule these tournaments for Sweeps Week to get some nice ratings for their ads.
Right, yeah.
I think I read the ratings fell 25% or something.
Everybody was frustrated that Teachers Week came, and normally it's like the junior is a big one, the teenage and the college one's big, because it looks like one of us is up there, right? And by one of us, I mean me, who's somebody who, if I get one right, if I beat you, by the way, I've beaten you one time. I want to let you know that. I don't know about the timing, but I've beaten you one time in your run, and I've never felt smarter in my entire life. I ran around my house. I felt so good. Has Jeopardy always been your favorite game show? Because you were on The Chase as well, I believe.
Yeah, well, the Chase didn't exist when I was a kid. Jeopardy, of course, has been around forever, and it was the one I watched as a kid and said, hey, this would be something that would be really fun to do when I'm grown up. So as soon as they introduced the online test, I think it was in 2006, I took it every year and, kind of dreamed of this moment, although, honestly, I'm playing better than I ever thought I could have, so it's pretty amazing.
I'm sure you get this question a lot. Everybody that goes on there, you got people that are lawyers, you got doctors, you got counselors, you got people who have all been to school for a long time. You decided to be a professional sports gambler. And why is that? How is that? And how was that career for you? Is that something you'll go back to doing after this dominance of Jeopardy?
So when I was a kid, I remember telling my dad, I would have been about 13, I think, when this conversation happened, that I wish there were a stock market for sports teams because I thought that I could trade those for a living. And, it didn't occur to me until I would turn 21 and looked at the sports betting marketplace and how vast it is that this, sort of concept really exists in the real world. And I was already at a point in my life where I was doing mathematical analysis on who's going to win the World Series this year. Oh, it's going to be the Yankees 15% of the time, that sort of stuff. Anyway, so, I thought making some money doing it was a no-brainer. I will say I ran pretty good the first year I was gambling, and if I hadn't had that boost of confidence right away, I might have entered the corporate world. But I've never had to so far. I certainly foresee myself. I have taken a couple months off to deal with everything else that's going on. But I definitely think I'll be back for football season and hockey and basketball and all that.
What's a bad beat for you? Do you, I've never really talked to a professional sports gambler that wasn't just a complete liar about the amount of money that they gamble. Everybody on the internet that talks about sports gambling talks about, I'm betting $275,000 tonight on the under in the first quarter. It's like, no, you're not. You're not doing that. But you, I believe, it seems as if you're a well-calculated, cerebral sports gambler. What is the standard operation there? And will you utilize this Jeopardy winning to kind of go take over Vegas even more?
Take over Vegas. Well, they got house limits I have to run into here, and a lot of places have decided they, well prior to the Jeopardy run, that they don't want to deal with me because I'm winning too much of their money.
Oh, wait, you've been banned from casinos already and sports books?
Yes.
Wow. Which ones?
Yes! That is so awesome.
Well, it's only awesome if you don't have to worry about where your next paycheck's coming from.
True, with those 21 kids getting run out of those casinos. Right. I'm thinking of you with your iPhone calculator out. Yep. Oh yeah, this is definitely going to happen. Yeah, you know what I want? Give me all of it. And they're like, sir, get you and your fucking calculator out of here. That's incredible. Can you tell us which places have refused to do sports business with you anymore?
For example, William Hill, they're the conglomerate that operates 40 places around Nevada to bet at. They have a well-known policy of kicking out anyone who's a long-term winner. So they are, I think, the first ones to get rid of me. Cantor Gaming, they're another one of these conglomerates. They booted me. Yeah, it's a bunch of isolated ones.
Are you 100% focused on Jeopardy right now? Is this full-time? This is what we're trying to do for at least the next couple months, I guess? I mean, that's a wild thing to say.
Well, that's a bit of an exaggeration. I mean, I'm not working, but I have a 4-year-old kid, so that's a full-time job right there. And we just took a vacation to Sicily for a few weeks to kind of clear my head. That was good, I think.
Okay, so when you go to Sicily, there's museums and shit over there. Do you look around and just pick up little facts just in case it pops up?
There were some, yeah. I'm not sure how useful any of it's going to be, but I mean, if I'm at a museum and enjoying myself anyway, I might think, I could file that away, make a profit off it someday.
A lot of mafia talk down there in Sicily. Man. Italians get wild down there.
Yeah, we were at a kebab shop there, and some individual came in and said something to the owner, and the owner came out with a bag of money to give to that person. So,
sure. Hey, nothing to see here, James. Nothing to see here. You said, and I don't know if it was you being clever Because your personality is also a good one on Jeopardy. Normally, those interviews between Trebek and the contestants are must-see TV for train wreck operations. You have a great personality. You can chat well. You told him that you study by reading children's book. That has to be complete bullshit. I can't believe you lied right to Alex Trebek's face.
I don't know why I would lie about that. It's not like it makes me look good or anything. It's the truth. I get bored reading dry wall of text. It's not fun. I mean, maybe I don't know if you have kids. If you read to your kid, this book is engaging. It's got pictures all over. It's got a little graph to show you what's going on. They keep you focused and you learn more. I think in that environment.
I think you've probably been asked this plenty of times before. But the next Jeopardy, James, what should that person be doing, trying to do? I mean, obviously you have to have a photographic memory. Obviously you have to have a personality that wants to learn things. But what are some things because you have to be well-read. You have to know a lot about sports. You have to know movies. You have to know history. You have to know so much. How does somebody attain all that information? Is it just by kind of committing, like almost, I don't want to say like your entire childhood to it, but it seems like that is the only way to do it.
I think that I have the kind of attitude towards life that, if I have one shot at Jeopardy, I really want to maximize it, do everything I can. That's, I think, an important attitude if you really want to be Jeopardy, James. I would say, I feel like I'm playing it about as well as I thought anyone could go out there and do. So, maybe someone has a little better buzzer reflexes than I do, but other than that, I think the next Jeopardy, James would go in with a similar approach, similar knowledge base, and probably be playing a similar strategy.
The buzzer is everything, huh? There was a guy on the other night that was so mad at you. He was almost breaking the buzzer because he couldn't get in before you. The buzzer is the kind of the X factor in this whole thing, isn't it?
Yeah, everyone who's on the stage has passed 2 difficult tests to get on there. They all know the answers to most of the questions, and sometimes you just can't get in. It's got to be frustrating.
Shout out to Guitar Hero, man. Shout out to Guitar Hero. Because you're so calm, cool, and collected, too. It's just down there right underneath the thing, just kind of hanging out. Whenever you go out for Jeopardy, I assume you think it's only a 1 or 2 day trip because that's the norm. How do you take your family with you, or do they kind of move out once you're a week into this thing? Or well, I guess you're only recording on 2 separate days, so it's only a couple weeks in there. But how does it all happen? Do you prepare for a 2-day thing and then it turns into this, or what was the whole mentality going out?
So there's a few things to get at here, I guess. When I first went out there, I knew I was only doing the second taping day of that week, so I knew that was only a 1-day trip. I just booked that by myself. And then, I had to come back the next week, and I went by myself for that. But they actually pay for your airfare.
First class?
You're a returning champion. Steerage, no. So they book you a ticket that's comes out the night before the taping, and then you leave the night of the first day, and then they would have to cancel that ticket, get me a new one for after the second day of taping, and that continued for a few weeks after that. The third week I went to taping, I finally brought my wife and one of my friends. One of the problems is I can't just bring my wife and ever be in the audience because someone's got to take care of the 4-year-old, and we don't know anyone in LA well enough to just commit to babysitting at that point. So my friend and my wife did a trade-off. They taped 3 episodes in the morning and 2 in the afternoon, and they traded the kid at halftime.
Are you a coffee guy? Energy drink guy?
I like Coke Zero, but no, the taste of coffee is horrible for me. So that was a challenge. I could have used a little more pep than I had up there, I think.
How do you come up with the clever ways to write your name down there? Hockey stick was a good one. Hey, hockey stick was a good one, by the way. Topical, too, with the NHL playoffs. I thought that was very clever, especially if you're taping in advance. I mean, that's thinking ahead, good foresight. Obviously, you're Jeopardy genius, James. You're going to do that. But how do you come up with – are you getting bored with the things you got to do for your name down there?
So my initial plan was to draw the first letter of a metal band logo into one of the letters of my name every episode, but I ran out about 7 episodes in, kind of wing it from there. I would not say there's a ton of thought that goes into some of these things. There was one day where I I wrote my name kind of like in the font of the Jeopardy logo, and I actually got in trouble because I was writing something down during the production meeting, and they thought I don't even know what, but you can't act like you're taking notes on something during that. Everything has to be above board.
Those things that are separating you and the person next to you, to your left, obviously, you've been there a long time. Those don't seem tall enough for somebody if they want to cheat and look at your answer. Am I wrong there?
Yeah, but I feel like if the camera's always on you, it's going to pick up if you're doing this. You know?
Are people starstruck when they see you now?
You know, I don't know if starstruck is the right word, although I will say I went to lunch a couple of days ago, and afterwards I looked on Twitter, and someone tweeted something to the effect of, like, I think I just saw Jeopardy James at this restaurant, and I couldn't even bring myself to mumble a "Go Knights Go" under my breath because it was like seeing the face of Jesus firsthand.
Hey, that's going to make you feel good whenever you see some haters' tweets, I assume. Have you been on social media pretty active? I've seen your Twitter growing. I like what you're doing, by the way.
Yeah, I would say a fair amount. You know, I've literally never done Twitter before this, so I don't know anything about how it works. I'm just trying to learn on the fly.
Well, James, I think the world has never seen anything like you, man. We're all trying to learn on the fly, knowing that a human like you exists, to be honest. I mean, it's a whole nother level. When I said that earlier, I mean it. It's like all these humans that have their smartest friend get on Jeopardy. Like, yeah, like you meet a group at a bar or something. You walk up, you're like, hey, how's it going? And just something comes up like, oh, this guy got on Jeopardy. You're like, oh, shit, this guy's really smart. When were you on? Oh, I was on in June, in May, in 2019. Oh, you got just completely buzzsawed by Jeopardy James. It's an incredible feat, man. I think you should be very proud of what you're doing. Have you been paid yet, or does that come at the end when you lose?
They give you a check allegedly 4 months after your last episode airs.
Allegedly.
I have to lose eventually or I don't get paid.
Wow. Hey, they need to fly you first class, too. What you've done for Jeopardy is first class, man. It's awesome. Is Trebek a cool guy? Has he become a big fan of yours?
You don't spend a ton of time with him because these quiz show scandals they had back in the 50s, they want everything to avoid any appearance of impropriety now. But, I think if you look at him in the interviews, he's genuinely kind of in awe of what's going on the show. And I don't know. I think it's cool to see him coming out and saying that.
Jeez, James, you're awesome, man. We got a couple guys in the room here that are fans. I'm sure there's some question. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
You're the best, dude. Go ahead, Jeffrey.
Key to the city of Las Vegas. How was that for you?
That was something I didn't see coming for sure. It was kind of a surreal feeling. I had one fun story about that. So I was wearing a jersey of Mark Stone and the Golden Knights, and we were by the Vegas sign at this key ceremony. So there were some European tourists in line to take pictures of the sign, and they're like, "Who is this guy, and why is there such a big commotion?" And you can see them like Googling in their phones, Stone 61. And like, "Oh, it's a hockey player." No wonder.
It's so funny to think that Las Vegas, the city known for so much, gave a key to the city to a Jeopardy contestant.
Hey, James, while I got you, which way should I lean, Toronto or Golden State?
We all know the Warriors are the better team, right? So I guess it just depends on how many points you're getting on the Raptors or whatever kind of series price. I mean, if you have any inside information on Durant's health, I would be very appreciative.
Noted.
Can you send me? Can you think you can email maybe like your best model? I assume you've created a bunch of gambling models.
Yeah. What do you have? Do you have do you just punch a bunch of things into a database? You seem like a very statistic and organized, like that type of operation over there.
There is, there's definitely models in play, but you got to really kind of synthesize everything you know. One of the tricky things is there's so much to learn about sports betting, and unless you have a friend who happens to be a sports betting pro, nobody out there is going to teach it to you because you become their competition once you're good at this sort of thing. Luckily, I knew some people who I did some consulting for years back, and they taught me some important stuff about that sort of thing.
Sports gambling is about to become nationally legalized. We're right on the brink of it happening. It's already happening in states that it happened in Indiana. Indiana's behind on everything. So as soon as that happens, I feel like that's kind of a gateway to everybody else. You doing what you're doing on Jeopardy amongst other professions like best in crushing them is doing sports gambling such a positive PR spin. I don't know if you've been thanked by the sports gambling people, but you should be. I don't even know who they are, but they should be thanking you.
Yeah, I have done a few interviews with sites that are kind of proponents of the spread of legal gambling, and I think it's really cool. It's a big time in our industry. If I can be of some help in putting a good face on it, that's great.
Well, because I think the Italians kind of had a headlock on the sports gambling world. When people thought of sports gambling, they thought of old big time Tommy down there at the corner running a book. You know what I mean? And now Sports Gamblers Finest is representing on the smartest show on earth. I mean, it's only good things, especially with it coming into legalization here soon. Like, for instance, when marijuana is about to be legalized nationally, if some pothead gets on Jeopardy and just runs the table, that'd be great for marijuana.
Do you know who Dan Bilzerian is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so my poker playing friends tell me their parents used to, friends of their parents or whoever used to hear, "Oh, you're a pro poker player. Do you know Dan Bilzerian?" And now they say, "Oh, you're a pro gambler. Do you know James Holzhauer?" I seem to think it's a better spin.
Hey, you are the exact same as Dan Bilzerian too. Now that I've sat down,
Sure.
Todd's got one for you.
When we watch Jeopardy post edit, it appears to be like a gentleman's game, a ladies' game. But during recording, is there ever any kind of trash talking that goes on? Do you try to get in each other's heads?
No, it hasn't happened yet, and I think it's a pretty rare thing. We all are good sports up there. Everyone has been a great sport to me. I hope I've been a good sport to them, but I can't say for certain that I have been. I'm trying.
That one lady's a hater, man. She is a hater. You have a hater out there. You just beat the hell out of her in Jeopardy, but she is a hater. And you know what? I can't wait for you to be done until you're the man that's answering all the questions everywhere, and you're the new standard for game show contestants. I'm not just talking about Jeopardy. I'm talking about everything. Because I think you've handled yourself in a manner that's so positive, too. Always smiling. You look like you're enjoying it. It's not like too much for you. You're keeping your cool. You're respectful. I mean, you're literally this is a dominant performance in the proper manner.
Yeah, I'm just doing my best. I know take it one game at a time is kind of a cliche, but it's really the attitude you need to have up there, I think.
I wish you would just talk shit though. Like Ty Schmidt that was an easy one, don't you think, Trebek? A little bit easy. Ty Schmidt's in the back.
James, have they approached you about like the Legends tournament at all, or like going against Watson? Because I think you have like a legit shot to just blow Watson out of the water as well.
Well, I mean, in terms of knowledge and like ability to parse English trivia questions, I guess I could see me defeating Watson, although I think his mechanical edge on the buzzer, that was why he beats Ken and Brad in that super tournament, is just that he could buzz in faster than anyone else. I believe that IBM wiped all of Watson's Jeopardy playing data, though, so I can get him when it's easy now.
So I enjoyed the game The Chase, and they just took some genius from Oxford and put him at the top of a thing and had a bunch of trivia questions get asked. Are you preparing for what's about to come after this, especially with the pop and topical just fame that you've had here? There's going to be a lot of offers for you to do a lot of really cool things. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, it's difficult because new things keep popping up in the inbox every day. I can't talk publicly about a lot of them, but
wait.
Stuff I never foresaw is coming to pass right now. So I'm gonna have some tough choices to make coming up.
I think a very simple one, obviously, just like The Chase, come and see if you can beat Jeopardy James. You could probably take that on tour, I'd assume, and you'd be able to sell out just theaters everywhere. Like the Stump the Schwab show. I mean, the first thing that whenever I heard you were coming on the show, which I'm so thankful you did, I was like, I wonder what everybody tries to do whenever he comes on. It's stump him. It's got to be the thing that is. That could be something that's easy. I mean, I feel like you'll be able to run off this forever. I don't know if you'll have to place another sports bet in your life.
I did a interview on a Chicago area sports station, and they set up a Jeopardy game where 3 of the 5 categories were about sports, and the other 2 were like authors and presidents. And I was actually trailing in their Jeopardy game to the host of the show in the sports categories, but then the authors and presidents categories let me catch up.
Okay, here's the clue. This man is the all-time leading scorer in football at West Virginia University.
That is a good question.
Yeah, thanks for coming on my show. Thanks for coming on my show, James. This has been a great time. Who is Pat McAfee is the answer to that. If that pops up on from Trebek, you go ahead and hit that homer, will you, bub?
Sure. I probably should have seen that answer coming.
Well, James, I can't thank you enough for your hospitality, for your entertainment, for your humble humility. It's just, this is awesome. And I'm very thankful you came on this show. We honestly never thought it would happen. I'm such a big fan. And this has been really, really cool.
Hey, before I go, your producers promised me that since we're on a video, I could do your fake punt dance for the camera.
Yes.
Maybe give you a little video teaser for. I'm gonna do my best, all right?
There you go, James.
James, you looked incredible there. You did it better than me, which is what I should have expected. Just like you're doing game show and Jeopardy better than any human that's ever existed. You've been fun to watch, man. A real joy, a real treat to households and families all around the country. So thank you. And thank you for your hospitality today, man. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeopardy genius, James Holzhauer.
There you go, James.
Thank you, Pat. It was a pleasure.
James, you were so cool, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it. No, this is great. You know, one of the nice things about being offered so many interview requests is like you can just do the ones that speak to you. You know, so it's pretty cool.
Well, I'm so thankful you came on, man. If you ever need anything, not that you will, I'm just want to let you know, not that you ever would need anything, but if you ever need anything, you let me know. And I can't wait to watch your ride here on Jeopardy and keep promoting the hell out of you. I think you're a good dude.
All right. Thank you so much.
Cheers, man. Have a great night. Tell the family we said hello.
Okay. Will do.
See you, James.